Okay, I'm going to check if everything is where it's supposed to be, and then we can start.
Awesome. So welcome. This is our 19th of July, 2023. This is our APAC, EMEA. Cool. And so we have got first demo item. And we were just saying that there is a pre-recording which is linked in the agenda, but we will get a live demo, hopefully, if all is well, if the internet gods are on our side. And just to give context, actually, so I guess to make this recording. So this is a alternative and probably more of a longer term solution for syncing the repositories at the end of the security release, using an MR to bring everything back together versus the merge train, which we tested out last month.
Correct. And just let me finish the preparation here on my machine, and then I'll start live streaming. So here I go, I'm logging in. So let me see if I can make it work. So okay, and now I'm going to live stream. I mean, live stream to share screen, the screen share. Okay. Okay, so let me reorganize my window. So what are we looking at here? On the right side, this is my GDK installation running. And here I'm logged in as myself. Now, on the other side, we have still my GDK. I'm logged in as the administrator of this instance. And now I'm going to impersonate the bot, because I want to test also the features that prevent abuses. So here we go, triage bot, impersonate. What we see here down below is the triage ops running on my machine. With the changes are in a merge request, but I'm running them locally because they are not merged yet. So, okay, now here I am in the bot. Okay, so let me see what we can do. So back to my regular user on this installation. This is the GitLab. This is a fake GitLab canonical repo. So everything is here is just what we normally do, and then there is security mirror. Security, not this is the thing. Yeah. So there is a security mirror that, as we can see here, is forked from the canonical one and is up to date with the upstream repo. Now, because I don't have all the automation to do a security release here, I will just use the web IDE and make a change, just a regular change. So I do web IDE, adding a file. And now, because I can do this in this local instance, I would just commit straight to master so that I'm diverging the security repo from the canonical one. So security fix. Okay, commit to master. Well, if we get back to the project, now we see that this is the security repo that is forked and is one commit I had from upstream repo. So this is a diverging situation. Basically is what we have since we start working on the security release, because we start merging fixes and the history diverge. Now we fast forward at the end of the security release, everything is being deployed and tested. So it's time to sync changes back. So again, in the interest of the demo, I'm just going to create the merge request using the GitLab UI. This will be an automation as well. So we're going to hit
and that
here.
will be release tools doing the automation. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. So basically, what we see here is that we are creating a merge request from the security repo master branch into the canonical repo master branch. And basically what I'm expecting here, if the demo is still working, is that as I create this, the triage ops will intercept the creation of the merge request, leave a message saying, I approve this because this is a security to canonical master sync, and then react to the approval and set the auto merge. So the expectation here is that this merge request will be merged just by creating it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if it works. So the approval is already here, message, and everything is merged. If I'm going to refresh, we see that it's actually merged, that we had a pipeline, that the bot approved and merged, left this message here to explain what happened. And basically, if we go back to the security mirror, everything is in sync.
Mm-hmm.
So mirroring was synced. The commit is a merge request that has been generated by GitLab itself, so it doesn't suffer the problem of competing merge requests being merged at the same time, mm-hmm. which is one of the problems that we have today. Now, because this is, let's say, powerful, I want to show the mitigation that we are putting in place to prevent abuses from this automation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going here on the regular GitLab canonical repo. I'm going to create a merge request, still using the web IDE. Now, this time I'm going to commit to a new branch. Oh, just need to, will it work?
Yeah, it should do.
No, just, yeah, let me try if I can make it. Let's see, patch. I hope it gets the right message. In any case, it's just a message. So I'm going to create a merge request. Yes, it did. Okay, so this is a merge request I'm going to create, just not writing anything else, just want merge request to be here. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm moving to the bot account here, and I'm kind of impersonating a malicious user that took control of the bot and wants to approve something that is outside of policy. So what I go here, go to the merge request, we'll find this. And basically, oh, this is not thinking that I care. I will approve it as the bot. As we can see, it just approved and removed immediately. So if we go down, we see that Triage bot approved this merge request, and then the automation kicked in and unapproved immediately and left this discussion open that also the discussion itself prevent merging from happening, not only the removal. And here we can change the message, also pinging someone if we want to say, I don't know, we want to notify CERT that someone took control of the bot and approved something that was not supposed to be approved, or if we just want to ping ourselves to just monitor if something weird is happening. And that's the demo.
And so where on that message says outside of the allowed policies, where are those policies like captured? Is that the code owner's file?
Yeah,
or?
it's coded. So let me see if I have this. No, there's the code owner. Oh, let me see, maybe from here. That's the issue. Then we do. That's the thing. So this is the merge request on the Triage ops. This is kind of very simple. Basically, there are those concept of processors, which are a simple file where they say when this piece of code should react to something happening on GitLab.com. So in this merge request, which is what we were looking at in the demo, we are introducing we're introducing the concept of delivery processors, where we can put everything we code. And basically we have two processors. So the first one, let's see if I can, or maybe just make it bigger. which is okay. So basically the first one is this, which is the regular operation. No, this is not the, sorry, security. This one. This is approving security sync. Okay, so reacts to opening and approving in general. So everything that when we open a merge request, or if we remove approvals, removing approvals is because first maybe we have synchronization issues because we have a conflict, and so we do the opposite operation, which is fixing the mirroring as we do with the regular security release. This will generate a new commit on security master, and by the settings of the project, we'll just remove approval. And so this will re-engage and make sure that that everything is still approved. But basically what happens here is this. If this event is coming from GitLab org namespace and is coming from a security fork, and the source branch is master, and the target branch is main or master, so basically everything has the highest level of approval already applied, because we have code owners, we have AppSec reviewing. So this is only if it's a master to master security to canonical merge request. So if this is the case, we are adding the message, which is we identified security canonical sync and approving. And so this is the first step. When this happens, the second processor engage, which is the verify bot approvals, which is the one that prevent abuses as well as merging things that are supposed to be merged. So let me remove this comment here. So this reacts simply to approvals of any kind, but then engage only if it's a GitLab org namespace, a project in the GitLab org namespace, and if the approval is coming from GitLab bot. So it only reacts to GitLab bot. And then when it processes the things, is doing this check again. So if it's a security fork, it's coming from a security fork, source branch is master, target branch is main or master, then is merging. So it's the happy path. Everything is working as expected, we're merging. Otherwise, someone is abusing the bot. And so this is the thing. We were leaving the message and we are unapproving. So this is the policy is this control here, basically, right? So, and if we ever end up expanding the policy, this is the place to audit. Right, because this is where we react to those approvals.
And just to actually, I have a couple questions. So first one is, are these? Is this the first time that we have used anything along this line with these processes? Is this like a brand new approach?
We as delivery, or we as a company?
Either, but probably more. Well, yeah, no, both actually.
Okay, as delivery, yes, because we always implemented everything in release tools or merge train. So the closer thing to this is the GitLab version bump. And the GitLab version bump is entirely developed in release tools. And it probably suffers some of the issues where sometimes it gets stuck that maybe a reactive approach like this one could solve. But that's entirely another
yeah, because it's not using the merge when pipelines exceed. Oh no, it still would be, I guess.
It's using that thing, but is not reacting to actions. It's just trying to put things one after each other, and if timing doesn't work well, basically can get stuck.
I see. Okay, so it's an alternative implementation of that style of process. Okay, that makes sense.
On the other hand, so company-wise, we are using this quite a lot, and for I say more complex workflows than the one we're doing. I think this is the first time we are implementing a merge operation in here. So that's the novelty. But for instance, AppSec is using this to track AppSec approvals on community contributions.
Okay.
So it's basically implementing custom complex workflows on top of the regular workflow. So it's mostly working with labels, reacting to adding labels, reacting to if someone from AppSec approves something, then I'm putting a label, say that it's been approved by AppSec. But if someone changed something that is approved, it removes the approval. So this type of interaction. Our workflow is simpler, because we are coming from a very specific branch to branch, project to project relationship where everything is being pre-approved and deployed actually also. So we are, it's simpler in that context, but we are introducing this anti-abuse mechanism, which I think is very useful.
Okay, yeah. And then just one other question. So where did you originate the MR from? Is that originating off the security repo? Is that where you open up? If you go there,
yes, I will.
Could you go back to that?
There. So this is the canal. Let me just
go to the secure section on your left nav bar.
Okay. Now, where? Because that's the project. Okay, that's the security.
Yeah, head and okay. So if you go to the secure section, so in the middle, do you have the audit events? Click on that, because I'm wondering.
This is because I never opened the audit events on my
What
GDK.
I'm wondering is, so let me just get straight. So this is the triage ops bot operating in the security repo. Is that
no,
correct?
it's the other way around. So this is because the merge request lives in the context of the canonical repo. It's just the source is coming from a fork.
Oh,
so,
I see. Okay.
So
yeah, could
if you're looking for some, maybe we could there.
Not that. Yeah. That's right. Because what I'm actually wondering is how easy this is going to be to audit. So under here,
I think there's nothing.
Do you see anything about that approval or merge?
No.
Because I think
is
this
it sorted
may
by
be
date?
The challenge. Thought it would be in the order.
I mean, merge requests are not here. I mean, I don't think that there is a real challenge here because you can audit from here, which is what is that? Source probably. There is something like that, or approved by equal triage bot, or even O if you want. Isn't this enough? I mean, this is a list. It's better. Today we have nothing, right? So if we think about what we're doing.
What I was actually thinking more about is just how many activities does the triage ops bot do was more what I was wondering about. Because I'm just wondering, given we are reusing this bot, whether we are going to, won't answer it here, of course, but that's probably another question compliance may have, which is just going to be, when they come to audit these events, is it a case of them needing to look through 10,000 events and spot one rogue event, or is it 10 events and needing to spot one rogue event type of question?
Well, today, let's do this live. Why not, right? So let me move, what is this? Test, gonna go here. And then I go here to the merge request. So we see, I don't think we are using that thing. Approved by is. Oh, that's interesting though.
What about
so we
merge?
No, that's interesting. So we're using the bot for approving things. But these are all the old one. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So we used to use the GitLab bot to approve Gitly version bumps. I'm trying to filter those out to see if there are others. So before using project access token for the Gitly version bump, we used this bot. When then there was a situation when this token was rotated, and we decided to move away from this token. But this was before introducing code owners. Now we have another problem with the Gitly version bump, that project access token create a fake user actually, and when the token expire, the fake user is deleted. So now, when in 10 months time from today, our token will expire, we will also have to update the code owners file. So this is not a problem. But so. Okay,
but in today's world, that the bot isn't actually doing any approvals. Okay.
Yeah, 3 years ago, I mean, let's do the sort by created date. Okay, so 1 year ago.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's okay then.
So my assumption that it's about 3 years ago, so we're not using anymore. Okay,
that's fine. Okay, I because I don't know how often the compliance stuff takes place, but it may be quarterly, maybe it's even monthly, but there shouldn't be a huge number. Okay, that makes sense. Before I move along, Graham, I know you joined a bit late, but is there anything you want to ask about? Feel free, don't worry about the fact you missed the beginning. Feel free to question if you need the context.
Probably even just a quick overview of the context, and I think that's probably all I need. So are we talking about here merge requests on the security branch being a bit more self-service, like the whole merge request process?
No, this is about the sync at the end of the security release.
Gotcha. So
so can I find you?
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
And this is just going on the last security release, we tested doing this sync with the merge train, which did work, but it's probably not a long-term solution, because once things scale up, we won't be able to probably get a clear shot at the master branch on the canonical repo. So this one's more of a actually, is this a more longer term solution, basically?
Yeah, sure. Looks like Alessio might have crashed.
Oh yeah, he's probably overheated. He's fine until mid-morning. So that makes sense. Cool. So hopefully we'll be able to test that. Hopefully Alessio would rejoin. I think probably right now the biggest uncertainty is going to be, I know Alessio is talking with compliance about whether this approach will be compliant, basically.
Compliant, yeah.
So I know that they've asked for him to go through some steps, and so they can review that. So hopefully we'll be able to test this on the next security release, but that's probably the biggest unknown.
So is the plan then this new approach will be, it will open an MR on canonical and then basically or more or less set it to merge, but because we kind of had the MR, we then get notified a bit easier, a bit cleaner if there's conflicts, and also testing and rather than just trying to cram stuff back in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the other really big thing about having an MR is compliance, because then there's a record to show here are all the changes that went into canonical.
Because of this at this point in time, because of this, and
exactly.
Do we want someone to manually approve that? I guess not, right? I guess
that's what Alessio is hoping to avoid. That would have been one question I'll ask him about if he comes back, which is I think the challenge we have is I don't believe there's anyone in delivery who could approve this.
Yes, correct.
And that's the challenge, is the delay. But given these things this kind of Alessio has been thinking about, it's given that these are all changes that have all been approved by maintainers, they've all been approved by AppSec, because they're just things coming out of security. Because in an ideal world, if someone in delivery could approve this and we could merge it, that would actually be the most simple process in the world. But that's what Alessio is hoping to cut down on that piece of delay. So it's just an automated sync. So we'll see.
That makes sense.
But it is quite similar to the Gitly approval process. So in that sense, what I'm hoping we can get to is a compliant kind of process where things that need to operate in this way fit this model, and we kind of know how they work. Hello, welcome back.
I'm back. Did you explain the thing to James, I think, right?
I think so. We
chatted just about how the sync and
awesome.
Okay, good.
So I think one final question I had, Alessio, was how likely are we looking to be able to test this on the next security release?
That's an interesting question. So This is, so in order to make this work, there are 3 merge requests. One that is implementing the fast lane CI. Let me see, I can still screen share. Should be able to this one. So let's get back to what it was. Nope. Try to find this very quickly so that we see. So this is come in the context of no link. Come on. That's really
So you can always add it after. This is the bit that basically identifies these are previously approved changes and skips the merge pipeline. Yeah,
but basically, so the problem is that we want to have we need a fast pipeline, which is somewhere here. We need a fast pipeline, we need the automation to approve, and then we need the code owners, otherwise the approval is we cannot merge. So in this context, the fast pipeline, which is here, is almost there. I mean, in theory, has all the approval needed, but the engineering productivity decided to go to an extra maintainers. So basically, we already have 2 approvals, which are more than enough, but they decided to take the 3rd one. So if this lands, we can still try it. Even if we don't merge it by this way, it will still be interesting to test, because this one, come on, I can stop sharing. I mean, my connection is terrible. So basically, we will likely be able to test the merge request itself, even though if we may not merge it by using that merge request. And so this gives us validation of the fast pipeline. Then we may or may not be able to test the triage bot to approve things, even though if the approval may not be enough to merge. And so I don't think we will have the code owners changed in time. That's the thing, because now I'm writing the ad hoc access request, and then trying to get, because I will be asked by compliance to write this ad hoc access request exception or something like this. So I'm trying collecting evidences of what are the current permissions right now, what we are asking, what we are doing, and why we are doing those things, right? And just because there should be, I think what they want to do out of this is kind of making a plan for reviewing bot permissions and actions more than that. So who can access the bot and what are the trails that they can follow if the bot is doing something unexpected. So I'm working on this. I don't believe this will be ready in time because of it has to be reviewed and things like that.
So, okay. So in which case, could you and Myra make a bit of a plan for what we want to do for the next security release? Because we've got the merge train, we know works, but it's not really a fully fledged solution. But it would be very good to have, it would be good to know a kind of scoping of this problem, because so that we don't spend sort of too long trying to implement something about syncing. I think we should probably just make a plan and work out how we execute it. But I'm aware that the next security release you'll be out till SEO. So it's kind of if you and Myra or with Steve next week, but let's figure out what we're going to do for the next security release, and then actually work out maybe is there any way of testing this, for example, without having the bot doing the approvals?
Well, it depends what we want to test, right? So a couple of examples. So I was hoping to have the pipeline merged today. It didn't happen, so it's probably going to be tomorrow, hopefully. So this will already give us some opportunities of testing, because we can always create an empty commit on the security mirror and test just making the merge request manually, just to verify that the pipeline is actually working and things like that. And that's a test. Then there is another thing that I think that is important to test in the security release itself, which is so if you make a merge request, so we can make the merge request like we want this to be, right? So the fast pipeline merge request, even though we don't have the bot with the permission to approve or things like that. If merge train is merging manually, that merge request will be marked as merged in the UI as well. Because basically this is how the software behaves. If someone merged manually something that is also a merge request, GitLab is able to detect and update the merge request accordingly. So it's kind of give us something more to show compliance. Like, so say, we would like to do this, and this is the trail that you will see because this is the merge request, but because we still didn't have the approval, we did the old way, but we kind of show the merge request. This is how it will look like in the future. So if we get there, I will be happy as well. I don't think we will have the approval for the code owners at the same time.
Okay. And if we were doing the manual approvals, is that something delivery can do?
No, that's the problem. So it depends on the content of the security release. That's the real challenge, because when we enabled code owners, it was only star rule. So everything can be approved by any maintainer plus delivery. So it was, except for the code owners file itself that has, I think, engineering leadership, something like this. So we usually don't change code owners in security release, so we could have approved manually and merge it. But I would say recently, I don't know when it happened, basically some stage group changed their optional approvals into a mandatory approval. And so if the security release touches one of those files, we need a code owner from that stage group.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so how about then next week, we make sure we have a plan. Perhaps we could use actually next week's demo, so that, because Steve, I believe, is a release manager. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Hang on, let me just look this up. Yeah, so Steve will be one of the release managers. So how about in the next demo, we can see how far you've got and work out what the plan is for the next release.
Yeah, because maybe we can just make a small change in release tools to generate the merge request in any case, the way we like it, and see where we are and what we can test at that point in time.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do the plan next week.
Okay, great. Have you got the access request open already?
No, I'm writing right now.
Okay,
I'm just collecting
it
because it's a bit complex process, because you have to gather evidences, you have to explain what you're doing. It's not the regular access request, it's a different one.
Yeah, cool. Okay, great. Awesome. Any other questions on that, Graham? Nope. Awesome. Great stuff. So let me see. Actually, I'm going to switch these around because we could do the OKR stuff more async. So Graham, I'll hand over to you for the next discussion item.
Yeah, so after, gosh, I've kind of lost track which major incident we've had recently, but one of the major incidents we've had recently, I think auto deploy was paused, and I was going to look at unpausing it. And when I went to the release tools repo on ops and went to the CI scheduled jobs, I mean, I could show you the screen actually. Basically, it looks different now. The jobs all look different, and which is fine, and it's great. Obviously, something's changed. And I was just like, if anyone's got like a 1 minute catch up on what we've changed and why. So let me ops. There it was. Like if I go here.
I think it's because of the timers.
Yeah. So I think there used to be like a pick, and all of these. There used to be tag, pick.
Yeah. Now you only have a timer.
There we go. Yeah, I used to see, yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, it's all in auto deploy timer.
Okay, cool.
But
this one
in
now.
any case, if you need to change, disable, or enable those things, you should run chat ops.
Chat ops.
Chat
Oh
ops,
yeah, no,
run auto deploy, pause, and unpause.
yeah, no. So that's fine. And I think actually what I was looking at was the I noticed some stuff had the pick into auto deploy label, and I wasn't sure. I was going to, I'll go and run the pick job manually, and I think that's where I got confused. Is that label still being used?
Yeah, it's if you want to pick and tag, you need the first job. The one,
okay.
that one.
So I would just click that.
I will send you a link to the documentation that we wrote
that's fine.
when we
That's
updated this. But basically,
the
2-second version is that the timer is doing prepare, pick, and tag every time it runs if it's the right time to do those jobs. So it's just a single unit that is doing all the things in sequence if it's the right time of doing. And if you need to do manual actions, you have the 2 above jobs.
Perfect. Cool.
But I would also add on to this that actually what Alessio is not mentioning is all the work he did to actually speed up things. So actually, Graham, I would say that probably now is a really good time to actually to stop doing so much hand holdings on things. Like it's 15-minute difference. If someone has labeled up the MR correctly, it will just get picked in and it will go. So I think that's probably also a like if it's like super urgent that we really need to say 15 minutes, run it. But if it's just a case of this needs to end up in something, let's just get the automation to handle it, and it might make it a bit easier as well.
Yeah, you basically there's a gap of 10-15 minutes. Basically, if something is merged and properly labeled, in 10-15 minutes, it's in a package. And basically, the packaging runs in parallel with the CI testing. So in 1 hour time, it's ready to roll out.
So that means then now, no, that makes sense, I guess. So when we pause auto deploy, like nothing gets picked or anything, literally. Yeah, I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, pausing is also, I think, a slightly interesting. I know it's good not to waste resources, but also I think that if something isn't going to go beyond the broken environment, then sometimes it may just be less work to just allow the automation to continue. And
we can do an easy soft pause. It's very simple to implement because basically the timing is determined by an environment variable in the project that is giving it's a list of hours. So if we do soft pause chatops command, whatever it is, that replace that variable with an empty list, it will never create any auto deploy branch, but it will still pick and tag.
So, it would still pick and tag. Correct. Yeah, right.
So this gives power into the hands of developers because they can pick whatever they want, but it's still it can be useful for reacting to outages or things like that, because then there's no really need to have a delivery team members around. You just apply the label. 1 hour later, the package starts to roll out, and you only have to promote. That's the only manual things you have to promote at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an option. Yeah, I think we should consider the need. Like, I think consolidating our processes so we have one process that just does what it needs to do makes things easier. I know you two know a lot about these things and can certainly like navigate through scenarios and use cases and edge cases and things, but it's really hard to onboard people into release management because there's so many different processes. So I think if we don't need something, and if we're just just a case of like 10 or 15 minutes on a pipeline, I think we should just generally wait, unless it's like we really can't wait for 10 or 15 minutes.
But I think that Graham's point is another one, which is when we are in auto deploy paused state, and you can wait indefinite amount of time.
That's kind of what I'm actually wondering. Why are we taking the action to pause?
a
It
PCL.
is extraordinary. So, like, I think the situation I'm talking about, which is when we're pausing like this, is quite extreme. It's because we've had big incidents and stuff. So it's probably not something that happens too often.
Because I think there are different cases for pausing. So yeah, like I think PTL, or we know we don't want to deploy, like it's family and friends day, or we are blocked for a CR for 3 days, then sure, let's not bother building a package. But if it was a case of, something is breaking the pipeline, and we don't want to go beyond, like I think perhaps locking an environment is an easier way.
Yeah, because the problem that we have, sometimes we block because we know that there is an issue that is not detected by QA. So we don't want to continue building and deploying because we will just reach production canary without detecting, but we will still, let's say we identified something that is broken and we don't want to keep building that package with that broken things. So we pause, we wait for the fix to land, and then we impose. But the other option is that we just lock staging, staging canary. But this kinds of affect other things like CR or anything else that is checking if the environment is free. So it really depends on how much we want to take ownership of an entire environment, say for 6-12 hours, compared to just say, just stop building packages.
That's
because
true.
in delivery next, we have this idea of the minimum SHA, which is later down in the thing where they say, a situation like this happened, this is the fix. Don't build anything, don't promote anything at any stage until we reach this point, which is where we actually want to go, right? This is the real solution, because we don't want to block others from doing their work, and we don't want to waste time or packages. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, cool. Does that answer your question, Graham? And just remind me, Alessio, what did you say that job was called on the CI jobs?
Which job?
The one that now has all of the timer thing that's replaced the pick.
Oh, auto deploy column timers. I don't know.
Oh, and do you want to dig out the link for Graham? This would be a good one to share in the Slack channel as well, because Graham is definitely not the only person who has missed this change coming through. But I think hopefully the gist of it is there should be a bit less to do. I think there's going to be an interesting mindset change actually as we go through a lot of this work, is that some things that we previously did, we won't be able to do in the future, or we shouldn't do in the future. And actually, I think that's going to be quite a difficult adjustment of us feeling like that we should be doing something. And actually as sort of getting to the point where our automation just takes over for us. Oh, okay, great. So final topic I had, we could definitely take this one async as well. But I left a comment on the Q3 OKR discussion. Not so much aimed at you, Graham, because I know you're going to be continuing on runway, and I think we'll get you looped into those OKRs, so you actually have a goal that you can be driving towards. But I haven't had too much response, so I just wanted to check in on the Q3 OKRs, which is, I know a few people mentioned about the stretchness of moving to multiple security releases in Q3. And what I wanted to say was, so I was thinking along the lines of having I should just share my screen. I was thinking about breaking our OKR up so that we have something along the lines of, I need to figure out wording, but something that basically says we'll do more security releases. But the KRs to go and achieve this would be the big piece from our side will be to switch to using a pull model instead of a push model. So basically we don't say, tell us everything that should be in this release and we try and get it into this release, but we basically say, get everything ready. And when our automation declares it's ready, it will be pulled into our release. So hopefully we're not chasing around so much stuff. Then a big one from the AppSec side will be automation around the blog post. We will have a little bit of new kind of special casing to deal with the fact that in theory, a combined security and patch release can have security plus bug fixes, in which case we care about the bug fixes, AppSec cares about security fixes. It may only have security fixes. It may have critical security fixes, which AppSec would like labeling different, or it may only have bug fixes, in which case AppSec don't really mind what we do with it. So it doesn't have to be that fully fledged solution, but basically some automation that actually pulls that stuff together and allows the right people to approve things and get the information needed into the blog post. And then I've got this one, I think, is more of a discussion one, which is quite a lot of us being able to support multiple security releases comes down to them being less work. And some of that will come just from the switching things over. So we're not waiting on people. We can just more say, if it's ready, it's in the release and on we go. But I wondered whether we also wanted another KR, which is maybe doing something more with automation, or something which you mentioned, Alessio, was about the tagging, the amount of time it takes to tag the packages. So I was wondering if, like, should we put something here? And if we should, what should that be?
So I think that distribution was working on some improvements there that I linked in my release manager handover message. And basically the biggest challenge we see on a security release, and we see in a security release because is the extreme release process, we're doing three versions at the same time, is a problem of resource contention on dev runners. So I don't know if they moved on that issues, or Epic, I don't remember, or not, but the problem is that everything has been set up manually. So they were doing first step, moving to, I think, Terraform. So terraforming the runner environments, and then the ability to actually scale it. And because I was asking, can we have a dedicated runner fleet for the releases, so that auto deploys and releases always have bandwidth? And so I think we can try and work with them on this, but it sounds more like a distribution OKR.
Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, cool. So we can certainly check in with them on progress towards this. Okay, that makes sense. So is there any other stuff we should have, or would it be enough on our side to just have if everything was ready when we start doing the release, and like, is there anything else we should be putting in place before? So this will be combining things together, hopefully being able to do 2 planned combined security / patch releases a month, and then reviewing where we are. So it's not going to be go straight to 3 and then just stick there forever. But is there anything else we should put in place as we go in? I wonder if maybe we should do something on the syncing, because it feels like we're going to end this quarter with no real, like, full solution to the syncing.
That will probably continue over.
Because that one might be, because I think otherwise that perhaps is at danger of just being a kind of squeezed down the side project. But actually, maybe we should call that out and actually say, like, choose and implement a proper automated repost sync step. Yeah.
On the other hand, what I'm hoping that we achieve here is that by having a shorter time of things diverging, we are actually reducing because we have 2 syncing problems. One is the broken and merge conflict. The other one is syncing at the end. So if we have a shorter time window where things diverge, we have a less likelihood of merge conflict. So we conclude earlier, we merge back. And so maybe we are dealing less often with broken stuff, diverging with merge conflict. On the other hand, that's absolutely true, right? So we want to have the merging working at the end of these things, because we're going to make it to one more time, and then there is also the security release. Basically, there's always something every week for release managers, because you start, there's the first security release, then probably there is a week where there's nothing, then there is the monthly release, and then there probably be another one. Or and the other way around. But basically, we have 4 weeks and 3 releases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But the other, I think, if we can get this right, and this kind of ties together the work that Steve's been leading this quarter. If we can get this right, it should get rid of other releases. So I know at the moment we don't do 3 planned releases each month, but we do more than 3 releases each month. Some of those are patch releases, which are relatively straightforward, but they're still work, and they can sometimes be quite reactive. And some of them are security releases, which are definitely reactive. Whereas what we should hopefully find is that hopefully we'll see it a bit if we can get to 2 releases. We'll definitely see if we can get to 3 releases, which is some of these really reactive things can just wait for the next planned release because it won't be so far out.
Yeah. Sure.
So hopefully we'll start to feel the benefits, and it just makes it a bit more predictable. That and this is where automation can kick in, because these multiple security releases, or patch releases, should I say, will line up with the release date changing off the 22nd. So then hopefully what we get to is we just have a day, like probably each week, where this process kicks off and it's pretty much automated, and it's just pulling in what it needs to do, creates a package, does the testing, and it heads it out the door.
So we are going to have the second OKR about the moving the regular release, because of this issue that you linked is only about the second OKR.
Yes, so the other one I think was less contentious.
Yeah. The first one is clear, and everyone agrees.
Yeah, so I need to fix the wording, but this is the first OKR will be to make the tool and process changes needed to support us moving away from the 22nd. And 16.6 is going to be the first release that does that, so that's November. So this will be the bit which I think we'll have to kick off the quarter with, these tasks, because it would be a shame to be late on this, even though I hope it's not a ton of work. So we'll start the quarter on the moving the release date, and then when we've got that into hopefully done, then we can start focusing on the security releases. So this will be objective 2. Cool. Does that look pretty good?
Looks good.
Okay, great stuff. I'll stick that back on the issue, so Myra can also comment on there. And as I say, Graham, I chatted with Liam yesterday. We'll try and get you a KR that you can exclusively own that pushes into Runway. So once we've got that, we can also share that back with delivery, so everyone's got some visibility. Yeah. But one thing, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
As I say, one thing that I think we'll start to see in Q3, which will be really good, is the runway and release environment work overlapping. So we should see release environments starting to move forward a bit, which will be great.
Yeah, I'd heard just that from other sources as well, which it's good, but it also is I need more context and understanding as to, like, I see them tangentially related. I do see them being related in the future, but I just think I'd like to make sure we get some clear understanding about what the goals are, and then how I can align technically as well behind that. I suspect the OKR for the next quarter is probably just going to be have some runway services running in production.
I think that's right. Without
going into too much detail, the very quick update is we're actually getting pretty close to a lot of the like deployment and running the containers and giving the developers the power and all that stuff. We're close to being done. I'm not saying it's by any means a stellar system, but it's pretty good with a good level of safety. And we've got a good level of being able to run things and doing test workloads on it. Seems to be pretty good for the simple use cases we're targeting. The big thing we're left is just observability. Once we get a good observability story in place, which is likely just installing the bits and connecting it all up to our dashboards and so forth, I suspect that we're very, very, very much looking at, making a service like GA-ing a service, more or less.
Awesome.
It
Great.
seems like, from what I'm hearing, runway's not going away, which is obviously always the other concern with it was hotly, it was very much wanted at the start of all this AI work, but as AI work has grown and shifted, I was always wondering if the company's focus and appetite would grow and shift as well, but it seems like that's not the case, which is good.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it's still super important. Awesome. Great. I am going to stop this recording, and I have one more